Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. We are continuing on with the Diversity Developers Commentary. I've been having a lot of fun talking to you guys about the build and the redstone and all that stuff. And in the first episode, we went over the monument and how that works and the redstone behind it. Second episode, we started venturing into the puzzle branch. So I'm going to warn you, this will have spoilers in this episode as we're going to continue on with the second puzzle. And let's begin here. Don't watch this if you haven't played the branch yet, but if you want to check out how it works and what the puzzle solution is, let's go ahead into the puzzle branch. There's our first puzzle. We talked about that last episode. You can check out the video on that. Here we are on the second puzzle, the water hopper stream puzzle, which was a little difficult for people, but it's a puzzle. Like, it's supposed to be difficult. But it is a little bit of a different take on the classic have all the lights on puzzle that everybody's done before. So the first thing that you should notice is that there is lava and there is water, and that's pretty important. I mean, nothing in this map is there accidentally. Observation skills are very important to make in this puzzle map. So first thing hopefully you did was just say, oh, okay, so all the lights go on. I've got to figure out what it is. So get your pencil and paper out and you write down what those are. And okay, that does those two. And well, I heard something. I don't know what that one does yet. Okay, that turns those on, right? And that turns those on. Okay, so really you should be going back to this one saying, what's going on there? Because that does not do anything. But I did hear some lava. And, oh! Something just fell in the lava. Let's try that again and see if we can see what it is. There is a dispenser up there. It's doing something. It's making something fall in the lava. So you start turning lights on and you try to figure out how to get all those lights to come on, and I admit you can't do it. It's not designed that way. Well, you can do it in multiplayer if you press two buttons at one time, apparently. But I had two choices. Either make it easy so you just turn on all the lights and you win, or make it a little more difficult and have it a timing thing. So basically what you have to do here is you have to turn those ones on here, and you hit this and you can see there's a lever. There's a lever there, and the lever actually gets pushed back into the trash, which makes a auditory clue that, okay, we screwed something up. So you just have to quickly switch the lights on, and then the lever, where'd it go? Oh, I missed that one. So we gotta try again. So we do that, and then we quickly move it over. And there it is. There's the lever floating across the hoppers. And it's come out to us. And that's how you solve that puzzle. And I made this like a one-way lever kind of thing. I guess I did solve it the first time. So now we have two levers. But anyway, it is a little trickier. Like I said, I had two choices. I could have made it a bit easier, but I wanted to be a little more creative with it. So a timing puzzle is what it is. So let's take a look at how it kind of works, the redstone behind it, and some interesting things about hoppers. Okay, so I set up this little demonstration area here with a few items that I'm going to go through. First we have the hopper device. This is the hoppers under here carry the stream. But the important thing about them is, well, first of all, I have this hopper system just traveling quickly to this chest, and if we drop an item into a hopper, obviously it goes, and just like the monument here, it travels through to the chest. But something interesting is if you power a hopper, so I've set up this redstone dust dish to show you that when the lever's down it's powered, and it's actually powering this hopper. When you power one, it can't accept items. So you can see it just floats on top there until you turn the power off, and then it quickly grabs it and pushes it into the chest. And that is exactly how this system works. Is when the lights are on, they're actually powering these hoppers and allowing that lever to float on by. So the next thing I'm going to show you is this little gizmo here, and I used to actually try and speak Redstone language, and some people are just really like antsy about their terminology, so I don't even know what this thing's called. I'm not going to call it anything. I'm just going to call it a cool little gizmo, some sort of one-tick pulse. Some people say it's not a T flip-flop, so I'm not even going to go there. But the way it works is when you power a redstone dust, it pushes this piston up. And this is a sticky piston, and so is this. So you can see we have sticky pistons. And normally when you power a sticky piston, it pushes up, and you can see it comes down, and then you do it again, and same thing. But we also have a repeater here, which is going to grab the power from the block. And very cool thing about sticky piston is if you feed it with a very, very short pulse, it will push the block up. And because I think the piston is actually pulling down at the same time because it's so quick, it won't actually grab it until you hit it again. And I use this all the time for making these buttons or anything where I make a button do an on-off. I use this little thing right here. What happens is the power goes through to the block, the repeater grabs it, makes a short, very short pulse, because at the same time as grabbing it, this is pushing up, so you can see it will go, yeah, very, very, very quick. So all these are lined up with that, not the combo lock, but later there are more that are lined up with that. Now, this here is also a nice little trick that Jesper taught me when I was making the map. I didn't even know you could do this. What we have is a dropper on the bottom and a chest on the top. And a dropper is interesting because when you power it, it can actually push items up into a block that can contain items. I think. Not sure about a hopper, but it will work with another dropper or dispenser or a chest. And you push it in here and you power it, and it'll actually push the item into the chest. So using that, you can actually take items and constantly power the droppers and push them all the way up to the top wherever your item is. And I've used this quite a bit in the map as well. And all three of these things are incorporated to make this puzzle system work. So let's go behind and check out the redstone, and we'll sort of look at the whole system as one. Now we're going to check out the redstone behind it, and I hope you brought your thinking caps because, man, this is going to get a little complicated, but I will try and break it down for you. So what I've done here is I've gotten rid of the water so you can see it a little bit better. We have the dropper at the top, and we have the hoppers at the bottom here that collect the lever if it's wrong, and the lights are off right now. What I'm going to start with is the buttons in the middle. Now this is a little trick you can use if you want to make a button in the middle of a floor, so you can see what I've done here. In the middle of the floor with no walls around it. There's a couple ways you can do that. This is more of a silent way. You can see here we have a dust which powers that, and if you're trying to get it below a floor, sometimes it can be tricky. You just take a repeater and then you can get below the floor, and you can continue on with your signal there. Another way that I've done it is just put a piston that pushes down with a block of redstone, but that's if you want to have one block in the middle with a button on it. That's an easy way to do it. So let's move on here into the redstone signal that powers it down, and we have that block there that gets powered from the repeater and then makes the signal active down here. And it splits off into multiple directions, and that's because that blue wool controls more than one light, or controls more than one piston for the hopper. So it will just split off here, and you can see it goes to this torch. Now this torch has more than one input to it, because that's coming from another color. Not sure which one it's coming from, but we can have multiple inputs to have one of these little piston doodads here. So you can see here that torch gets depowered from the signal, then repowers this torch, which activates that redstone dust, and that's where we have our little piston pulse thing hooked up, and it pushes the redstone block in, and it pushes the redstone block out. So just to show you a little bit easier, I'm just going to grab another button, put it here, and you don't actually have to have it go in a line. It can be from a multiple direction. Push it in, and you can see it pushes that redstone block in and out. So depending on which button you press over there, you're going to move multiple of these blocks in and out, and those blocks do a couple of things. One, they turn the light on because the block gets underneath, and two, it also powers the hopper here so that the item can't go down. So if I was to push this ahead, it's going to power this item here, and hopefully, can we? No, it went through that hopper. Okay, I'm just going to break that, and I'll show you here if I don't get caught. No, it's not going. Come on. There we go. There we go. So as long as it doesn't hit another hopper here, it'll just sit on there, and it can't go until you get rid of this power here. So you see, if I get rid of this, it drops down immediately. And when it drops down immediately, it goes to another hopper chain here that runs this way back and towards this dropper here. So we've got some items that have fallen through and gotten to this dropper. And that's how that little portion of it works. Now, continuing on here, we have an item spawner. This is a little thing I learned from Jesper, and it's constantly producing levers so that you never ever run out. And they're just floating there, not because it's powered, but because this thing is completely full. You're never going to run out of levers. That hopper there goes into this dropper, which is powered from the iron block, which shoots it into the stream here. So let me just put this back. Now, when we have a fail, when you don't have the things lit up, the items go down into this dropper. Now, when we talked about the droppers pushing up from before, that's where we get this whole signal. So I'm going to go across through the iron signal here, and let's just break the floor so we can see a little better. What it does is it comes down, powers this signal, splits off into a few different directions, I think 4. Hits this block, and 1, it goes this way. It also goes up. It also goes through here. And it also powers this. So there's 4 different outputs from that one button. The first output here going up simply fires the dropper over here into our stream. And that's how you can see the lever go down, and hopefully you have the lights lit up and the timing proper, and it'll go and give you the lever, and then you can solve the puzzle. The other thing it does is because we have these delays, it'll come across here, it'll go into these delays, and it'll head up here, and it will power this dropper, and I think this dropper, and what it's going to do is push these items up and up. And over here we have another signal that comes behind it and powers the next one. Now, this signal here is also coming up, and it's all set for timing that it's going to power the final dropper. So by the time you get the button pushed, it's going to travel from this dropper to this hopper. So I guess, yeah, you can put it through a hopper, which pushes it quickly into this dropper, which is going to push it out with this signal into the lava, and then you know that, oh, I messed it up and I didn't get it right. So you see, well, let's push something in, and yeah, well, I grabbed it. But it will, if I can just push it, there you go, into the lava, done. You can hear it, and you made a fail on that. And that is how that water stream hopper puzzle works, the redstone behind it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I know it was a little complicated trying to break it down for you. Give you a few tips on there so you can make your own puzzles if you want. Next episode we are going to look at this one here, this puzzle here. This is another one that confused a lot of people, and it's kind of cool because like I said, I came up with this design on my own, but I also came up with this design on my own. So I'm excited to show you that. We're going to go through that, and we're going to go to the end soul sand puzzle as well. We'll talk about those two. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.